Well, it's my second vlog. I'm stuck here for another 10 minutes talking about hog hunting. Well, main thing is you're dealing with a wild animal, and you have to understand that. Sometimes people just think they're small and they can't hurt you, but just because they're small does not mean that they are harmless, because best believe them 2-inch teeth can hurt you just as bad as them 4-inch teeth, and a cut on you is just as bad as a big one as a small one. Well, anyway, start it off, we're gonna have to talk about the basics. You got your strike dog, and strike dog, he's the one that you kick off the buggy, and he goes and strikes, finds the hog, and we call that striking a hog. And he's the one that really starts you. You usually try to have as many of those as possible. But if you don't only got one good strike dog, then you have to get you a help dog. If you ain't got like a bunch of good strike dogs, you gotta get you a help dog. And them help dogs, they just go to the bay and help is really what they do. They just help bark at the hog and keep him from running off, because you don't want the hog to run. You want him to kind of stay still so you can get to him. And then you got your bulldog. They're kind of like the finisher. I had one guy tell me one time he's like the Undertaker. He just finishes everything. That's where it all ends. Because he gets there, and you want him to catch straight on the ear. That way you can run in there behind him and catch the back feet and grab him and then roll him over and tie him with a tie rope. Well, sometimes he doesn't always catch on the ear the first try, and the hog will break or something. So we're going to talk about what you really want out of all three of them. So in a strike dog, most people want them to be good looking, but that's not really mattering to me, because if he goes and finds hogs, that's all I need him to do. And you want him to have a good nose on him. You gotta be able to smell hogs. A good one will be able to wind them whenever the wind's blowing or sitting still, and no matter what. A good one can just be riding and he can smell a hog. But some of them, they're just not that good, and they just gotta be on the ground and they gotta search for them a little bit harder. And you want a good loud deep bark, that way you know where he's at. I mean, sometimes in dogs they can be a little quieter and harder to get to them because you don't know where they're at. Then you got your help dog. Your help dog is you don't really expect much out of them, but they better be good looking if all they're doing is help. I mean, my Jack Russell weenie dog could go help in a bay, so these are usually a little bit better looking, just because you don't expect much out of them. All they gotta do is go to the bay and bark, and they're just kind of there for extra credentials, really. And you get them and you send them about 200-300 yards away, and then usually drive another 150 yards closer. That way you're within about 150 yard range. That way you can hear them, and you know it's a solid bay, and you don't get them breaking and stuff, and you don't want to get too close. And then you got your bulldog, and your bulldog, the main thing on him is he got to be stout and fast, and there's a lot of stuff on him. I mean, you want one that's dang sure crazy about a hog. You don't want to be running up in there grabbing a wild animal and not have nothing holding him still. So them bulldogs there you mainly use to stop him. He's supposed to catch on the ear. You like a solid ear dog because he has better leverage, and he's going to hold that hog a lot better for you to get in there and grab a back leg, and you can be safer. And another thing in a bulldog you want is one that'll dang sure not let go. Like, you don't want him to run in there and just be kind of snapping at him. You want him to hang him and stay there. Sometimes they'll run in there and grab a front leg or something, and it kind of just ruins the leverage point, and then it's kind of harder because that hog can move around on you a little bit. Bulldog also got to be pretty, I would say, mindful, but you can't whine on back of the box. You don't want him to whine or bark or anything, because that'll bring the dogs back to you, because they think there's another bay going. So you really gotta have them where they're quiet and not barking and yapping and stuff all the time. Bulldog gotta be stout. He can't be no little 10-pound dog. You gotta be a decent sized dog if you're running one. Some people run two, and if you're running two, you can have two lighter dogs, but you dang sure if you're hunting with one like I do, you want one pretty stout little bulldog. Bulldog's got to be able to run too, because sometimes the hog breaks and they got to be able to run to him. And that's about it on bulldogs. On top of all that, whenever you kick them dogs loose, like I said earlier, you don't want to get too close, because if you get too close, the hog will break and run, and then you got to worry about how far he's going to go, and most of the time they go another 800 yards, and that really sucks whenever you're that close and you could have got to him. So you kind of try to be quiet and stay away from him on the buggies. Like 100 yards is as close as we get on a buggy, and then we'll walk the rest of the way. Whenever you get about 20 yards or so and you can see him, you can send the bulldog to him and let him go catch him. Most of the time, if you're lucky, he'll stay in one spot and bay up pretty good. The bigger ones, whenever you kick the bulldog loose too, you run in there behind them, and whenever you leg him, most of the time, if he's a big one, you kind of grab one back leg and try to keep control, and he'll wait for somebody else to come in there and help you grab the other one and roll him over on his side. If he's a little one, you can usually do it on your own. Sometimes the big ones have to be done on your own, because you're on your own. Like, I caught a 200-pound hog Monday all by my lonesome, and I had to leg him in time and do everything myself, and it was a pretty good little fight. And sometimes them dogs, like, we hunt a bunch of open stuff, so them dogs will run them across some wide openings, and you jump on your four-wheeler and you just bail to them and run them over and hit them with your four-wheeler, and they'll roll, and then you jump on them, then you time. Just don't hit your front brakes and flip over like I did. There's a lot of people that went away from dogs though when they started doing night vision, but I don't have that kind of money, so I don't really night vision much. People, they'll spend $5,000 on a gun, and then another $5,000 on a scope, and they'll hunt all night, and I'm not that mad at them. I'll go during the day with my dogs and catch one or two and call it good, because I like watching the dogs work more than I like killing them. It's just more of an adventure, more of a rush getting your hands on them. Sometimes it gets a little crazy, because the hog will kind of try to get you and put you up a tree or something, and probably the craziest part whenever you're untying them and letting them go, because we take boar hogs, that's a male hog that still can breed, and we make them bar hogs, and that's by castrating them. And after you do that to them, they're mad, so whenever you go to untie them, you usually jump up in a tree, and that's a pretty good little rush, because you know he's going to try to follow you up and hook on you, so you got to stay in that tree for a little while and let him run off and let him leave you alone, or else he'll dang sure get you down and put you in a bad situation. And so you usually try to have another person there, that way if you fall out the tree, he can help you, because if you get in a bind like that, it's a pretty hard, tough situation to get out of. Not all the time do you do that though. Like on sows, most of the sows we kill just because you don't want sows reproduce and have a lot of pigs. So we usually kill all the sows that we can, and then cut all the hogs, the boars, and then just ear notch them, and that way we know if we catch a boar hog that ain't ear notched, that we ain't ever caught him before. And that's how we kind of keep track of everything we do throughout the year. Well, that's about all I got for you today. Have a good one.